Good day. Welcome to TV360 News Now. I am Thelma Okoro. 25 people have been killed, including a 2-year-old child, after a bomb blast struck the secretariat of the Sabongari Local Government Council, Zaria, Kaduna State. The governor of the state, located in north-central Nigeria, Nasir El-Rufai, confirmed the attack, which occurred on Tuesday morning. He described the attack as a terrible act of infamy in a statement released after the blast. 32 persons injured are being treated at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria, and other hospitals in the city. Most of the victims are civil servants who went there for a biometric verification exercise. No one has claimed responsibility, but militant group Boko Haram is suspected to be responsible, as the sect has carried out similar attacks in the past. The blasts are the latest in a series of deadly attacks in recent days, which has seen more than 250 people killed in Nigeria. Still on today's blast, Governor of Kaduna State Nasir El-Rufai has urged the residents of the state to be vigilant and report any suspicious person and movement to law enforcement agents. Speaking at the scene of the blast, Governor El-Rufai sympathized with the direct victims and the residents of Zaria. He condemned the attack as an inhuman act of terror. The governor further announced the deployment of extra security forces across the state. El-Rufai urged the people of the state to shun large gatherings, but where it is impossible to exercise and practice maximum vigilance. The state government also called on residents to fully cooperate with law enforcement agents in these trying times. Now, before today's blast, a similar attack occurred in Kano State. However, no casualties were recorded except for the suicide bomber. Police spokesman Magaji Majiya said a teenager blew herself up near a mosque on Monday night in an apparent suicide attack attempt. Kano has not been attacked since February this year, when 2 suicide bombers struck a bus station, killing at least 10 people. The attempted attack bore the hallmarks of Boko Haram, which has been behind a wave of violent attacks in the region. Still on Boko Haram, the Nigerian military says it has released 182 Boko Haram suspects after investigations by the military proved they had no link to the insurgency group. The exercise was done on Monday at a military base in Maiduguri. The freed suspects were made up of 100 men, 28 women, 40 underage boys and 18 children. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima handed them over to the Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima. He, however, did not state how long the 182 suspects had been in custody. In the past, the Nigerian Army has been accused of illegally detaining hundreds of suspected insurgents without trial. Human rights organizations, including the Human Rights Watch and the Amnesty International, have raised concerns about the rights abuses in detention centers used to incarcerate suspected Boko Haram members. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima has reassured Nigerians of continued security in the country despite fatal attacks in some parts of the northeast. He said this during the interdenominational church service to mark the Nigerian Army Day celebration at the All Saints Protestant Church, Mogadishu Cantonment, Abuja. He, however, noted that Nigerian Army has made considerable success in its efforts to contain insurgency in the country. The Nigerian police, has banned trading and hawking of goods on Abuja roads in a bid to ensure security in the state. A statement released by the police force said the ban was placed on street hawking and all forms of trading on Abuja roads, highways, especially road intersections, traffic light points, and traffic hold-ups. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arashe has also mandated State Command Commissioners of Police to strengthen security at all mosques, churches, and other worship centers across the country. This comes after multiple suicide attacks in a church in Yobe and another one in a mosque in Jos left over 50 people killed and dozens more injured. The statement said worshippers are advised to be vigilant and promptly report to the police any suspicious persons or substance found in or around the environment. It's been exactly 17 years now since Nigeria's late political icon Moshood Abiola passed away. For some, his achievements and memories remain evergreen. Well, today in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, some civil societies and his family members gathered to remember and celebrate MKO Abiola, as he was often called.
17 years after MKO Abiola, all what MKO Abiola stood for, what we will have benefited from if we had allowed MKO Abiola to take that mandate, stares us in the face. As we speak, 17 years after, we are still divided along religious and ethnic background. MKO Abiola defeated Tofa in his own place. It was a Muslim ticket, but as I speak now, such a thing cannot happen in this country. MKO Abiola was for farewell to poverty. It was for eradication of poverty. 17 years after, more than 90% of our population live below $1 per day, and more than 90% live below $2 per day. We remember MKO Abiola, and we want to assure him that he died for a collective struggle, and it's our collective responsibility to keep his memory alive.
Any government in Nigeria today that does not declare free education from cradle to grave kills MKO Abiola. Any government in Nigeria today that does not look into the privatization of PHTN, which has been given Nigerian darkness, kills MKO Abiola. Any government in Nigeria today that does not declare free health medical care for Nigerians kills MKO Abiola. The lesson of MKO Abiola is that we should be committed to a cause. He had all the resources. He was not poor by any means. Yet, he abandoned, he forgot all his wealth and was committed to one goal: eradication of poverty. Let us build our lives. Let us devote our life for principles. MKO Abiola is being remembered today not for his wealth, not for his houses, not for his money, but because he was committed to a principle: farewell to poverty. That is the challenge to all of us.
We lost our father, but our father would not allow himself to come alive as a traitor to Nigeria. That was the most important thing to him. He knew the power of the opposition. He knew the power of the military. But he said, how can I explain to the people if he betrayed them? And he decided not to, and he lost his life. Sometimes we think, over the years, it's been 17 years of not having him here. Sometimes we think, we wonder if he knew how we're going to suffer in his absence, if he would have done what he did. And we think MKO loved us so much. Maybe if he had known that his family would have been pretty much abandoned, maybe he would not have done what he did. But we know him well enough to know that even if he saw the depth of the wahala we now encountered and the depth of the treachery and betrayal, MKO would have still done the same thing.
On June 12th, Nigerians actually had a referendum. It wasn't just an election. A referendum for military rule to cease, a referendum for democracy to resume, not reinvented, and a referendum for one thing more, for which MKO was very much committed, and that is going back to a federal Nigeria, where I keep repeating, even though tribe and tongue may differ, we stand in brotherhood and sisterhood. That is still something that requires to be done. As we gather here, it is to remember that one, he upheld the spirit of Nigeria and upheld that referendum. Two, that actually what we have been going through for the 17 years, anyhow you look at it, is still not going back to all the things we need to do. to have this country great the way it should be.
Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari has approved 1.2 trillion naira as intervention fund to solve the prolonged economic crunch in various states in the country. The Finance Ministry said late on Monday that Nigeria would release 359.37 billion naira of liquefied natural gas (LNG) revenues to help ease the debt backlog, while the Accountant General said it would share out $1.7 billion from its oil savings pot, excess crude account (ECA). The amount needed to settle all outstanding payments for civil servants have been fixed at about 250 billion naira by the Finance Ministry and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Godwin Emefiele, who attended the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting held on Monday, asked the state to submit their loan obligations by July 8 to enable the bank restructure them to settle their debts. Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), has hailed President Muhammadu Buhari for approving a bailout package to pay government workers their pending salaries. In a statement issued in Abuja on Tuesday by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said it was particularly delighted that the president came to the aid of the long-suffering Nigerian workers with a multi-billion naira package that will not only ensure that all arrears of salaries owed by many states across the country are immediately paid, but will also make it easier for the states to meet their monthly salary obligations henceforth. We'll take a short break. When we come back, News Now continues.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on TV360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. You're watching News Now. To business. Nigeria plans to sell 70 billion naira worth of bonds next week, its 7th debt auction this year, the Debt Management Office DMO said on Tuesday. The debt office also said it will issue 40 billion naira in 5-year paper and 30 billion naira in 20-year debt using the Dutch auction system on July 15th. All are the reopening of previously issued debts. Just last week, the debt office said it would issue between 180 and 240 billion naira worth of bonds in the 3rd quarter of the year. To international oil prices now. Oil rose on Tuesday after one of its biggest sell-offs this year, but looks vulnerable to more falls after China's stock market took another tumble and Greece moved closer to leaving the Eurozone. Brent crude for August was up 90 cents at $57.44 a barrel, following a more than 6% drop in the previous session. U.S. crude traded at $53.10 a barrel, up 57 from the close on Monday, when it reached levels last seen in mid-April. Despite the rally, the outlook for oil demands look grim as Greece struggles to remain in the euro and key consumer China faces a sharp stock market sell-off. To international news now. Deadly militant group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack on 2 homes in Kenya's northeastern Mandera County, which claimed over 14 lives. According to Mandera County Commissioner Alex Nkoyo, at least 11 others were also injured in the attack. The attack started around 1 a.m. when a group of men using a variety of weapons attacked the compound, Nkoyo said. Most of the victims are quarry workers who were sleeping outside when the militants opened fire on them. Mandera County borders Somalia and Ethiopia. The county has been under heightened security since attacks in the region last year left many people dead. To sports now. Undefeated boxing champion Floyd Mayweather has been stripped of his World Boxing Organization title after he missed the deadline to pay at least $200 $100,000 sanctioning fee to keep his belt. Mayweather improved his 48.0 unbeaten record when he defeated Manny Pacquiao in May in the bout described as the fight of the century. The 38-year-old American also failed to vacate his World Boxing Association WBA and World Boxing Council WBC titles at junior weight middleweight, an issue as SBO rules states a boxer cannot hold two titles in one weight division. Mayweather had asked the WBO, for an August 1 deadline. However, he changed his mind about giving up the title, therefore creating a problem for the WBO. To tennis now, world number 1 Novak Djokovic has overcome a major scare at the 2015 Wimbledon as he faced South African Kelvin Anderson, who posed as an unrelenting opponent. Djokovic eventually defeated Anderson 6-7, 6-7, 6-1, 6-4, 7-5 in a 5-set thriller. After his victory, Djokovic praised his opponent's resilience while admitting that the match was one of the most difficult in his career. We've come to the end of News Now. We thank you very much for joining us. I am Thelma Okoro.